The term luxury car hasn't ever been more muddled than it is today. B-listers like the entire Buick lineup or Acura's new twist on the Civic are taking credibility away from the notion of luxury automobiles faster than cup hands trying to hold water. At least that's true in most segments of the market, but there are still a few companies offering truly upper crust vehicles, and as you can probably guess, I'm sitting in one of the very best that the world has to offer. This is the Rolls-Royce Ghost Series 2, and if you've ever been passed by a Rolls-Royce product on the street and you're anything like me, you probably sped up and craned your neck to try to see who is inside. After all, it's spaces like these where million-dollar deals are made, political futures decided, and caviar consumed en masse like bacon bombs at the Sizzler. Or is it? Because in fact, the company tells us that right here in the USA, their biggest single market, their clients actually often prefer to eschew the option for a chauffeur in favor of driving their cars. That's right, in America, we appreciate twin turbocharged 6.6-liter V12s. Now, like I said a second ago, this is the Ghost Series 2, and of course that means that this is the second iteration of Rolls-Royce high-volume Ghost model. Of course, you got to keep in mind that high volume for a brand like Rolls-Royce is a relative term. They don't sell very many cars, but what you get with this vehicle is a host of refreshments and changes, mild tweaks to the exterior, interior, and of course the latest in Rolls-Royce technology. But before we get into any of that, let's just pause for a minute and appreciate how amazing the interior to this car really is, because frankly, it's not often that somebody from my tax bracket is even allowed into a car that starts at over $291,000. Mind you, that's before spending between $30,000 and $50,000 on option packages, $14,000 on a rear entertainment system, and $5,000 on full grain leather, which, by the way, I highly recommend. There are a range of new wheels for the Series 2, and the most expensive of those measure 21 inches and go for roughly $10,000, or you can spend $14,000 on a bespoke shade of paint. And another thing that I absolutely have to mention in here, the dashboard has two metal plungers, and what they're there to do is govern how much air is flowing through the vents. And what's so cool about that is they're doing it mechanically. So, a lot of cars, you just have a knob that you twist to affect how much fan you're getting through the vents. But with the Rolls-Royce, it's mechanical, and there's practically nobody left that does that. It's just so cool. To sum up the interior of this car, everything feels as expensive as it looks. The leather is soft, the wood rich, and the metal feels sturdy. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, for example, you can even get a solid gold Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament on your car. In essence, this is what all other luxury cars aspire to be like. Rolls-Royce didn't really change the engine for the Series 2, and that means that you still get a 6.6-liter twin-turbo V12 that puts out 563 brake horsepower and 575 pound-feet of torque at its max. But that doesn't mean that the powertrain hasn't been changed, because for the Series 2, Rolls-Royce includes its new satellite-aided transmission. What it does is it takes GPS navigation and anticipates curves in the roads and upcoming geography to know what the best possible gear out of its 8 available speeds is. The whole point of that is not to offer the highest possible performance, but it's to offer imperceptible shifts. You're not supposed to feel the car changing gears at all. It's just supposed to be there. And it works really well, because when I push my right foot down, all I feel is acceleration. That's it. And aside from that, the car is really very isolated. I mean, there's no wind noise, there's no chassis rattling, anything at all. You can hear a little bit of tire roar making it through, but aside from that, it's almost like sitting in a padded room, except this is one compartment that you wouldn't want to leave. Now, body roll shouldn't come as any surprise, but Rolls-Royce says that it's offering a new dynamic suspension with the Series 2 that should combat the car's tendency to tip and roll while turning. And it works, because if you make a hard lane change at highway speeds, you don't feel the car leaning at all. A part of that has to do with the adaptive dampers, but it also has to do with new struts on the front and the rear. I never drove the old Ghost, so it's hard for me to really comment on whether or not it's an improvement, but I'll take their word for it, and frankly, it is remarkable how well this car can maneuver considering its size. Now, I sincerely doubt this matters to anyone at all, but according to Rolls-Royce, this thing should average 13 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. But enough about all of that, because let's be honest for a second. If you're really about to buy one of these cars, my opinion of it means diddly squat to you. Instead, let me leave you with a quick window into what the ordering process for the Ghost Series 2 is like. It is totally possible to walk into a Rolls-Royce showroom and buy a Ghost on the spot, but very few customers choose to do that. Most of them go through Rolls-Royce's bespoke program, and as you can probably guess, that will allow you to customize the car down to the very finest of details. Got a thing for reclaimed barnwood? No problem, the company is more than happy to craft cabin panels out of it for you. If you want to create a brand new paint color, they'll put it on the car, and they'll go one step further by preventing anybody from painting their Rolls-Royce that hue in the future. Of course, you can always make the ultimate trek to Goodwood to consult with the company and specify exactly what you want. No, the Ghost Series 2 doesn't look dramatically different than the pre-refresh model, but yes, it is measurably improved and undeniably exclusive. And after all, that's what owning an ultra-luxury sedan is all about.